because they're garbagey. It's like it doesn't add anything to the main game itself, which is really quite sad to see happen. They're just fluff. There's the dead body there. Yeah, like I'm gonna. Yeah, well, buddy, you're. Yeah, well, I'm just leaving you. That's a trap right there. If you're watching my first video, you'll understand why I'm not doing. I'm not. Ooh, I'm going really in the wrong direction here. Ooh, that's not good. This is the way I need to go. Now the two pack files I disabled for this particular mod. One, it turns off your GPS. Devil's Furrow. What? It turns off your HUD. If you saw my first video, you'd see it. What it did. And it turned off the GPS and no fast travel. Now, I kind of like that idea because I really enjoy riding around on my horse. So I may reestablish that one. Reestablish. Like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? I may turn it back on. Yeah, well, it wasn't so hard, was it, Mike? Huh? Stop talking shit, man. God, man, sometimes I wonder about myself. No wonder my wife tells me I'm an idiot sometimes. Alright, so, what? It said I discovered something, but what is it? Alright, let's look at the map here. Where, oh, that's not where I want to be. It's right here. I'm not seeing anything here. I'm not seeing anything. Hold on. Tutorials, character, society, events, locations. There it is. According to historians, the Furrow was both an ancient and an early medieval trade route leading through this. Okay, so the road I'm on is actually, that's what it's called. Because this is a massive ditch. Okay, so it is, okay, it's a plowed area. Or the road. Okay, whatever. So that's exactly what it is. Alright. Huh. Okay. Alrighty. New perk point. I just learned this yesterday. I didn't know I could do my perks. I know. How could you, I played these sort of games for I don't know how many years now. And every one of them had perks in some degree that you had to. Now I'm just trying to remember how to do this now. It'll be under player. Alright, so what do we have here? We got skill for drinking, okay, hunting, lockpicking. Lockpicking I could do with, let me see here, clinch master, mule. Better rider, you can carry 5 pounds more. Oh, okay. Clinch master. I'm not level enough for anything here. Yeah, I didn't think I could do anything with that anyway. What else do we have here? Head cracker, heavy swing, clinch master. Gives you attempts at higher chance of overpower your opponent in a clinch. I just want to be able to strike better. But I can't do anything with a blunt strike. Stab, slash, slash. Oh, jeez, I hate these console type things. I'm serious. Why can't they just be passives and have them automatically happen when I'm in a like in a particular distance, and my passive would take over and automatically use it? Turner. Because I'm not going to remember that. Stab, slash, slash. I'm not going to remember that at all. That's console shit. That's like those fighting games we used to, well, you still play today. You know, you're on the left or the right and you're going against your opponent and you got to go tap, 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 just to get one particular hit in. And I was like, I could never remember that stuff. Yeah, see, oh man, that is pathetic. Yeah, I'm not going to remember any of that. Why can't they just be passives? And by the way, I wasn't all that great in those other games either. Those fighting games. Block an opponent's strike with a shield will cost you 30% less stamina. Okay, well that will come in handy actually. Definitely, because that was costing me stamina right there. Okay. Is there anything that tells me how many points I have to spend? That's one thing I don't... Like, I'm not seeing how many points I have. Okay, well, obviously I do want to level up these things as well. Okay. I'll save my game. Now, from time to time when I am... Alright, Mike, you're not keeping an eye on where you're going here, dude. Yeah. From time to time I need to go up and pee or whatever, so if you see me exit out, go to the not to the main menu, but just exit out sort of thing. But I'll definitely be letting you folks know that I'm going for a pee or whatever, but it's a necessity. You know, I think the dev could have worked more on the main game itself, along the lines of optimizing the game, adding better AI, more things that you can do instead of pushing over like incredibly expensive DLCs that are garbage. I hate to say that, but you know, they're just fluff. Alright, so I'm supposed to... I guess. I know I'm supposed to get drunk with him. Oh my goodness, the frame rates are bad. This is pathetic. Like The Witcher 3, oh my god.
Apples, carrots,
I mean, my goodness. The Witcher 3, I have an HD pack installed for the game, which redoes everything, you know, and also for the creatures. And I have it on Ultra across the board. I mean, it's so wonderfully optimized, The Witcher 3 is. It's just amazing. So this goes to kind of show you what sort of, you know, the quality of the developer. Okay, normally he's up this way. Yeah, there he is. Okay. Oh, hello. Are you made? Really?
Make it quick, though. I don't care much for your scent.
I know. I gotta bathe. I know.
You live here?
Of course.
I mean here, in the presbytery.
Yeah, right here.
In the presbytery? With the parish priest?
Yes. What's the matter? Don't you like me?
So he's committing fornication.
Yes, of course I like you.
So why
Be
are you
different if he
surprised
married
Godwin
you,
likes
but-
me too?
I'm not. I mean, I see.
He's not a priest I'd go to see. I know I smell. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Need to find a bathhouse.
God be with you.
Yeah, you call yourself a priest, and yet you're screwing around with a woman that you're not married to. Yeah, oh wow. Yeah.
Have you thought of a way to help me solve that murder?
Let's leave it for the evening. Come to the tavern after sunset and we'll talk it over.
Alright.
I see you know how to wield a sword, Father. I wouldn't have expected that from a man of the cloth.
With a stick. I practice with a stick. A reminder of my youth and days gone by, and it helps keep me in good form.
Okay, well. We'll definitely be seeing you. In a little bit. Looks like I may need to rent the room for another night.
Good health to you.
Good health to you, sir. Let me see.
Is there anything suspicious going on in these parts?
Oh, aye. It's suspicious that you, of all people, would be asking. It's only since you turned up there's been odd things happening.
Mm-hmm. You gonna tell me what exactly?
Is there anything suspicious going on in these parts?
Oh, aye.
Okay, he's not going to elaborate. Alright.
Have you got a bed for the night?
All right.
Gee, you
For how
want me
long?
to have it better or not, buddy?
Just the one night?
No problem, but you pay in advance.
Mm-hmm. It's only
There you
2
go.
coin.
You all like it here. Like sleeping on a cloud it is.
I'm sure it is.
Good luck to you.
See, the devs could have really elaborated on that, had a more dynamic. Oh, won't let me eat. Or am I already full? Eat from the pot, yeah. There we go. There we go. That's what I wanted. Fill up me belly. Nourishment 95. I can go back in. Have another eat. Oh, cook item. Okay, it's not gonna let me eat. What do I have here for food? Yeah, that bread was a little pricey. I think I may end up going out to do some hunting. I don't want to play any dice. I've already asked everybody I could ask. Here about Labosh. And there's another thing too. I mean, I come across wayfarers every once in a while, and it's unfortunate because you can't talk to them. You should be able to talk to them to find out what has happened. You know. I mean, you know, if you're really going to compare Skyrim to this game, Skyrim has a lot more going on, and it's much more fleshed out. But I really enjoy Kingdom Come Deliverance because it's really based on real-world events, and I like that. No dragons, no doohickey. Hey, I could go to Scribe. Right. Learn how to read, maybe. Get some things done here.
Good day to you.
Good day to you. That's a grayed out.
I'd like to learn to read.
You? You don't look like the makings of a priest or clerk. But why not? I've taught all sorts. Bear in mind, it won't be all that easy. You'll need plenty of time and a few groschen for my trouble.
All right. I don't want to waste time. We can get started. The sooner I master it, the better.
Very well. I will require some groschen from you, though, and set aside at least a couple of days so I can put you through your paces, if indeed time is of the essence.
Here are your groschen.
Then we may as well start.
Okay. Don't let it be a mini-game, please. I hate mini-games.
He did break his vow, but better than to dishonor it here. May he follow his heart. Wake up, lad. It's time we were getting on. So, let's see you read a bit. There's a book here on the table. Try to read it.
Will I manage?
You ought to be able to. It's a simple text. Come back once you've worked your way through it.
What's it say? One day, a countryman going to his rest. What? Oh, an egg of pure gold. Okay, every morning the same thing occurred, and he soon became rich by selling his eggs. As he grew rich, he grew greedy, and thinking to get all gold goose could give, he killed it and opened it up to find nothing. Gotcha. That actually is a real story, I believe.
I've read the book.
Wonderful. So tell me, what have you learned?
That being greedy doesn't pay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You're one of my most talented pupils. You've uncovered the meaning hidden in the letters. Like I told you, books are valuable, and the words that you place in them ought to be no less so.
Does that mean that I can read then?
Yes, you have the foundation. Remember, my boy, the pen is mightier than the sword. To fully learn your way around words will take a lot more reading yet. Now we'll move on to the second lesson, which will be much harder. Many books are written in Latin, the language of erudite and religious men. If you really want to be able to read, there's no getting away from Latin. There's a book on the table with some text. Read it and then come back. You need not understand it, but you should master the letters.
I only just managed the fable about the goose, and now you're asking me to tackle Latin.
You're a clever lad. You'll manage.
Okie dokie. See how clever I am. Well, since I don't know Latin, the only word I understood there was none. Alright, let's go back to the scribe, say, look, pal, you know, I need to... Alright, Nipple, where'd you go to? Where are you? Let me guess, you're off getting a beer? Okay. Ah.
Who are you?
Just some dude who wants to read, alright? Don't leave me alone. Upon the death of Bishop, the first bishop of the kingdom of Bohemia, Forte, okay, known as... I may just keep these if I... Are they showing me up as groom and apprentice? Okay, you have reached a new level in reading. Good. That's what I was kind of hoping for, actually. Alright. There he is. Where'd you take off to, pal? I read the page.
So tell me, Disjupule, what's written there?
I don't know. Looks gobbledygook to me.
Nutus set libertine malus, ut non aliqua part droppet.
Not bad for a first try, lad. Try reading it again.
Alright.
Practice makes perfect.
Alright. Well, don't take off this time. But then again, I wouldn't have been able to find those other books either. Or I wouldn't have. Alright, okay. I think I just forgot everything I just saw.
I read the page.
So tell me, Disjupule, what's written there?
Nullus est liber tam malus, ut non alique parte prosit.
Good heavens! Don't tell me you haven't had lessons before. Excellent. Well, there's nothing more I can teach you.
What?
Congratulations.
Well, I wish it was that
You
easy
can
to...
go and be ordained right away.
Thank you, Domine. I'm feeling a lot wiser.
Okay. That's rather interesting, considering I still don't know what the heck I read. I mean, come on. Hey, villager. Let's talk for a second.
Jesus Christ be praised.
Indeed. Okay.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Of course. Ask away.
That man Lubosh who was murdered, what was he like?
He was a drunk who was always looking for a fight. Nobody liked him much, but I wouldn't wish an end like that on any man.
Yeah, see, all these are grade, which means, of course, I've already asked these, and I'll get the exact same questions from these people.
That's all.
Another thing Skyrim has over this game, it would be nice, like the devs could have really put an incredible amount of work. What made, like, the game Morrowind so incredible is that the amount of books and the history, you could sit there and read all day long and not even play the game, really. It was so wonderfully done. And with this, it's like they... It's like they decided to actually do only as much as they needed to do to get the game out and not polish it up and add more content. So, and that's really sad. They could have really done something wonderful with this game. I mean, I'm not expecting the quality and the depth of Morrowind for this game. Of course not. But what I am asking for is that they give a decent product. Okay. Obviously, that mod's changed this as well. Alright, so if I'm not mistaken, okay, here's the time here. Or no, it isn't. Okay, this is obviously it's military. That's 10, 11. Well, that's definitely not no 10 o'clock. That's noon. Right here's about 1:30. So I want to take it to about here. Let's see where that takes us. Yeah, that mod changes a few things in this game. I mean, why bother with that? $12 o'clock. That's the bell for noon. But this is noon. Or maybe that's the clock for letting people know that it's time to, I don't know. You know, to be honest with you, I really don't know. Let's go get some food here. Now, let's go see where the sun is. So I'm pretty spot on with the time looking at the sun. All right. Boy, I chose the right time.
I'm sorry I can't tell you everything, but maybe we can work something out.
Okay.
But first, I'd like to hear something about you, my son. With whom do I have the honor? Where are you from?
I'm from Skalitz.
Oh, I'm sorry. What about your kin?
They're dead.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Here, we'll drink to them. It must have been terrible.
Wasn't pretty.
It was terrible. It seemed so pointless. We had no warning. They just appeared and began the slaughter. God knows why. They killed anyone who didn't make it to the shelter of the castle. My parents, my girl, even the Deutsch who was on Sigismund's side. I didn't make it to the castle. I wanted to try and help my parents, but there was nothing I could do. Then I fled to Talmberg with the Cumans on my heels. They almost killed me. They slaughtered people in the surrounding villages. There was a pile of bodies in front of the church in Rovna. Folk who tried to take refuge there, but they...
My poor child. May God grant them eternal rest. And how did you come to get this assignment? I'd have expected Sir Hanish to send that old grouch, Bernard.
He did, but I found a witness and the trail led here to Ujit, so he sent me here to follow it up.
Ah, well, congratulations. It's nice to see someone using their head to find things out instead of torture. We'll have to drink to that. Now the most important thing. What actually happened in the oil? The good folks hereabout are saying all kinds of terrible things, but I take most of it with a pinch of salt.
The rumours aren't exaggerated this time, unfortunately. The Neuhof stud farm was raided by bandits, but they didn't come to pillage or even take the horses. They only wanted to kill. They maimed the horses and slaughtered some people. I'm sure they would have killed more, but the bandits quarrelled among themselves and broke off the attack. And judging by what's left of our Lubosh, they're still settling accounts.
I see it's every bit as bad as people claim. Dreadful. Well then, here's to those poor souls who had to die so pointlessly and so terribly.
I've told you all about me. Now it's your turn, Father. You don't look much like our parish priest at home.
I noticed there's a woman living with you at the presbytery.
What of it? Have you never met a cleric who lives with a woman before? Mother
Oh, he's a
Church won't
cleric.
let me take her to wife. Too afraid it might lose its property to any heirs she bore me. But she cooks and cleans, and, well, as a man I have my needs.
I'm not sure the parish priest at St. James would agree with you.
I heard he was a bit odd.
I noticed you're pretty handy with a sword. I wouldn't expect that of a man of the cloth.
You know what they say. The Lord moves in mysterious ways.
But this is a bit more mysterious than others.
Let's just say I haven't always been a priest. Fate led me to places where affairs were settled by force. These days, of course, it's just a bit of exercise to keep me in shape.
Well, we've had an agreeable chat, but now let's get down to business. So, about this confessional seal. Do you really want more innocent people to die?
Henry, that's not how it works. There are matters in which you can't make exceptions because if you do it once, you'll forever be tempted to do it again. If people stop believing in the church because their confessional secrets are betrayed, they won't trust anyone, and that's worse than even the most hideous crime.
I understand, but that means I've reached a dead end. Those cutthroats will strike again, and I can't stop them.
Chin up, lad. I might have a solution.
What?
Okay, tell me.
If I tell you what Lubosh told me, I'd be betraying the confessional secret. But, first thing tomorrow, I'll try something I think might help you.
Word of honor?
On my soul.
I always wondered about the things a priest tells his congregation. Where on earth do you get the ideas for your sermons?
Well, Uzhitz is in Prague. It's not enough to instruct people. They have to be entertained, too. If I only read from the Bible, I'd soon be preaching to an empty church.
Our priest wasn't exactly a bard. So what do you preach to your flock about?
It has to be something topical, condemning vices, and of course describing them in detail. The tongue lashing about the two popes goes down well these days, and stories from real life with a nice moral to them are popular as well, especially if they're about fornication and similar scandalous vices.
Well, isn't that what you're doing,
Can you give
buddy?
me an example?
Well, recently a
Fornication.
priest by the name of Jan Hus started preaching in Prague in the Czech language, and the people liked it. I hear he always has a full house. A journeyman who heard him told me what Hus is preaching, and I like the sound of it. I'm thinking about putting it in my own repertoire.
What's so amazing about it?
The preaching of Master Jan Hus about Mother Church. The lamentable wealth in which the church is drowning has turned to poison, and nearly the whole of Christendom is contaminated. Just like a flock of hungry ravens, they settled on this land to devour every grain of gold and silver. They know no mercy. Their hearts are corrupted by longing for wealth, and they shamelessly profit from everything. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay and you will have absolution. What if the devil himself were to pay? Would he ascend to heaven too? With such money gained from the poor, they buy beautiful horses to ride and needless servants to pamper them. They gamble at dice and dress their whores in expensive furs, while Jesus Christ walked barefoot and had no place to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too. Amen.
Well, this Jan Hus character is quite a rebel.
Oh, the congregation will love it.
I don't doubt it.
Let's drink to that.
Actually, he spoke
Funny.
the truth there.
That last bit reminds me of someone.
What do you mean? My situation's completely different. Huth preaches against the prelates and the clerics who are robbing the poor. Look at me. I don't have a pot to piss in. I'm no better off than the folk I preach to. I'm one with them in poverty and suffering and everything that troubles them. I drink with them and curse those stuffed habits in Sasau Monastery.
I don't think you need to drink anymore, will you?
Don't you think it's a bit odd when someone boozes and lives in sin with a woman and then criticises the Pope for debauchery?
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. Yeah,
Thanks for the sermon, but I think I've been morally uplifted enough.
It's getting quite late. What are your plans, Father?
What do you suppose? We have a drink, of course.
Ah, that sounds like a good plan.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Drink and be merry.
Przyszła bida mora lat, to nie ustoi żadnej chlap. Na kraj panu desnej smutek, do dnielo i rano utek, niech ich małżeński majstrat, do wczera żylne staje brak. Už sejmoj svatý muži, nechtěl bych bejbě jich kůži, nám je to jedno a tak si dáme jedno a požadem si ubí jako poslední den. Buďte s vámi, ano ráda s námi a tak vypal sudy a posaď se mi sem, tak posaď se sem a vypal je ven. Ukaž kozy jako vozy, zítra jen tu jsou nejdem, tak nalej mi hned, ať točí se svět.
Enough of this! Bailiff! Come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us.
Don't vex me again, Father. It's 3 hours past dusk, and curfew is long gone.
So what?
So, I'll have you all whipped, and put in the stocks, and I'll write a letter to the bishop about you, priest.
Well, nothing to worry about then. Everyone knows the only one around here who can write is me.
Enough! Men, throw them out. Oh.
You looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
Oh boy. Okay.
I wonder what Teresa's doing now. I could stop by and see her.
Come on, then, bailiff. You want to fight? Well, come and get it. Don't worry, I won't get any trouble.
Well landed.
Oh, I caught that. Oh, I just burped and hit the... Oh, okay. Climbed the bell tower.
So, my dear, wouldn't you like to have a little ring on the bell? No sooner said than done.
I'd love to. And Henry, too, I'm sure. Right, Henry?
Stop that nonsense, Godwin. Are you out of your mind? What will people say?
Say what they like. What do I care? What do they do to me? Watch the step, my dear. Careful, you don't hurt yourself.
Oh, man.
Here we are. Look at this beauty.
Oh. We can't do this, can we?
Who says? Get ringing, wench.
This is wonderful.
And now, my dears, comes the climax of the evening.
Man. Oh, okay. Wow.
Godwin, you old goat.
Come here.
Oh, for goodness sakes alive. You gotta be kidding me, right?
Shall we take a little ride of our own?
I don't know what the sheep. Alright, that's just weird.
Well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
Okie dokie.
Godwin, you beast. Get up. Do you hear me? Wake up, you drunkards.
Oh, fucking hell.
Where the... Oh, what the... Oh, who the hell are you? Oh, Henry. My great friend, Henry. Didn't we have a wonderful time?
Well, you certainly did, you old lecher. Now you better pull yourself together quick. You haven't much time. There's some water and something to eat on the table there, but if I were you, I would move my hairy arse before my flock eats me alive.
Oh, step on in my head. Oh, my guts. Oh, my poor suffering stomach. Oh, what was that woman on about? Wait, before my flock eats me alive. I've forgotten something. What have I forgotten?
Where the fuck am I?
What the fuck was it? Oh. Mass! Oh shit, I have to say mass. I gotta say mass. You have to help me.
How? You're the priest.
I can't do it in this state. Maybe the liturgy. But I have to give a sermon as well. Oh, this is a disaster. They're gonna excommunicate me. I'd like to help you, but you can. You can do the sermon for me.
What? So, first I investigate a murder no one wants investigated. Then I drunkenly keep the whole town up all night. And now you want me to preach at them from the pulpit? Do you want them to burn us at the stake?
No. No, I've got it.
to pose as Sir Ratzig's protege. You just came from studying in Prague. And you want to share the words of Master Jan Hus, who you recently heard preaching there. Henry, look, from what I remember, we might have overdone it a bit last night. And if the bailiff or someone else complains about me, the bishops can have my guts for garters. So I'd appreciate it. Stop gaping at me like a stuffed squirrel and start helping.
You're mad. You're stark raving mad.
I'm not. It's a perfect plan. It's flawless. Oh. How about this? If you help me with this, I'll tell you who Lubosh's cronies are.
Okay, so let me see. You refused. Well, I have new perk points to spend. Good. Yeah, really, I want to know
So
about
all
that.
at once, the confessional seal isn't so sacred?
Don't mock me. I won't give you a second chance.
Well, all right. I can't make any promises about what'll happen.
No, neither can I.
What do you want me to do exactly?
I'll go and start the liturgy. Then I'll introduce you. You give the sermon I told you yesterday in the tavern, and that's that. No need to drag it out. If it turns out well, I'll tell you what I know about Lubosh.
Christ almighty. Fine then. We have a deal.
Wonderful. Let's get to it then.
You heard him. Okie dokie pokey wokey. I give the sermon. Alright, I noticed that, yeah, I'm down to nothing here. Okay. How many arrows do I have? Okay, we'll load up on the wounding arrow. Let's go. Still a little tipsy. There we go. Okay, over this way. Over this way. Over this way. This way, this way. My trusty Pebbles is always here. Sorry, Pebbles. Well, hello everybody. I'm just drunk. Don't mind me. Oh my goodness, look at the frame rates, will you? That's insane.
Never show up.
He can hardly walk after his cables left him.
You move with them, you beast. Just you. Look at him. Mother of God, let me live now and throw up. So I couldn't sleep a wink last night with all that clatter.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem in sanctas at venerabiles a manus suas. Hac facite in meam commemorationem.
Brothers and sisters, you may have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skalitz, who is here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuhof. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where, by the grace of God, was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry
to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So, Henry, you may begin.
Curious which one came first.
Okay.
Brothers and sisters, let me get straight to the point. I'd like to talk about the church and how corrupt it is.
That boy has a cheek.
Creation has given to every man the power by which he might rule the whole world. But that power does not give him the right to rule. That right belongs to God alone. It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, humans, hunger, and chaos. The accursed wealth that the church is drowning in is poisoning almost the whole of Christendom. When dogs are fighting over a bone, take the bone and they will stop. Just like the flock of ravens that has descended on this land to peck up every speck of gold and silver. They show no mercy. Their hearts are poisoned by covetousness. They trade everything. Everything is for sale. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay, and you will have absolution. And the prelates sin and give themselves absolution.
Well, shame. Shame upon them.
And what sins? They live with harlots and keep concubines? Even though only marital intercourse for the purpose of procreation is pure. If someone takes a woman or man only to satisfy their own lust, who seduces them to do so but Satan? And how much darker the sin if that man is a servant of the church? Who can turn his face to God, who fornicates and then puts on priestly robes?
Nothing we don't know about already.
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you only pay enough coin to Mother Church. What if the devil himself were to pay? Will the bishops tell us he too would ascend to heaven? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgences, they keep fine horses and hordes of servants to pamper them. They play dice and garb their mistresses in expensive furs, while Christ, the Lamb of God, walked barefoot and had nowhere to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too.
Down with the prelates! Away with them!
We're fortunate to have our good Father Godwin. At least he's a fair and simple man.
God sees what is happening on earth, and he is filled with righteous wrath that those who should seek the salvation of souls instead seek mammon and the idle comfort of lucrative posts. Blessed are the shepherds who share the poverty of their flock, who are as one with you and bear with you the burden of this earthly pilgrimage, who do not condemn your venial sins.
Aye, all honour to Godwin. Let him drink like one of us.
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
Okay. Oh, my. That's just funny.
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, Dallas.
The young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a silver tongue.
I don't suppose I'll ever get to Prague. He told him nicely.
Well, well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed. I wasn't the only one.
Oh, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin.
So gluttony and fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Limpy Lubos tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through. For you...
Well, now Lubos came to me shortly after it happened. His conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said they'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
Fell out?
Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhof.
That would explain something. Lubos kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubos killed the murderer and he's dead too. The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledechko. Pius, Timmy.
Pius. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest. And anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to sniff out this Riki from Ledechko, right?
Well, we'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall, too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing. Anyhow, good luck. You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business. And I'd like to raise a tankard with you again sometime.
Yeah, I'll try. Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it.
Okay. Now that I've learned to read a little bit, what I'm going to do is that when I first came to the village, I investigated, well, Labosh's body. So, that is where my next video is going to start, actually. Alright, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I always appreciate that. So take care, and have a good one.